Casual Gaming Dad here, and I'm back with a video. This has been a bit of a delayed one. I've just been really busy and preoccupied, feeling a little, I think I got a little cold as well. And then in my spare time, the little bit of spare time I've had, I've been just so crazed, or I don't want to say obsessed, but just really enjoying Final Fantasy 14. So that's really what I've been playing a lot of right now. And so I haven't been streaming as much lately as a result of that. But here I am. And, you know, I know that the developer stream was about an hour and 20 minutes long. And I saw that KiraTV had put up a summary of the July update. It's a lot shorter, so, and I definitely really want to cover it. I still haven't seen any of the information about it, so I'm very interested to see that. So, you know, check out his channel. He just hit 100k subs. Pretty awesome. Excuse me. And so let's see. You know, it looks like there's some combat changes. You know, and I'm very curious about that. I know that there was a lot of concerns about that from a lot of people.
Welcome back to this month's recap video for the Ashes of Creation developer livestream. All information, as always, was taken from the ashespost.com website as a text transcript, so check them out at the link in the video description. The alpha is currently still ongoing until August 13th, and then there's plans for a long downtime to implement a lot of big changes, so let's get into the video and what these changes are going to be. In terms of the quick updates, there is a new junior community manager that's joined the team. They are opening the content creation applications, which kind of confused me a little bit since I'm pretty sure I already signed up for this a few months ago. But they are bringing on an influencer specialist to help out. And I would just like to go on record and say,
to be a content creator for part of that program. I did apply. Love that.
please, let's not use that word. I hate it so much. And of course, as mentioned in the intro, the alpha will be going down for, quote, a significant downtime after the alpha 1 ends on August 13th. So first up, the studio update portion of the stream talks about the physical move to the new studio location.
Ooh, nice.
They now have all the workstations set up, and they're waiting for ancillary furniture, the game lounge, and cafeteria to be set up. The game lounge, hopefully they're not going to have their superiors playing Call of Duty in there. Points for anyone who gets that dark reference. So about 40 people are now working in that studio, with the others due to come in the next couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. And they have multiple new employees that have joined the project in the last month. As for the design team update, this is a big one, so bear with me. That's what she said. They've obviously had a ton of feedback since they opened the Alpha 1 testing and removed the NDA. A lot of YouTube videos being made, a lot of people watching those videos and Twitch streams, and a lot of people jumping into the Alpha for the first time. More so than I imagine they've possibly had before, and they are currently going through it all, including the videos from content creators, so they can start to make iterative changes. One of the biggest things that they're working towards right now is, of course, the combat system, with new changes to go live next week. Some of this was showcased on this stream, and it looked pretty good, to be honest. Specifically on this note, they've added in a hotkey to enable and disable root motion, essentially allowing us as testers to try both systems on the fly, with either being able to move in melee or stand still in melee and be rooted. And then once they found out what people enjoy, what works best from the testing, I assume they're going to run with it and start implementing more changes to that. Improvements to the networking side of things by changing how the actors are calculated. This is important as they need an efficient system to send and receive data on abilities in combat for a large number of players at a time, due to the massive amounts of players that will be active during sieges in this game. Most of this is not going to affect you as a player, nothing that you see, as it's entirely server-side, but it should help the servers in large-scale PvP, and it may also affect your inputs on the user end, which is a bonus. In terms of going into specifics on the combat, they went into detail on how and why the combat feels the way that it does in Alpha right now, and probably will do for a little while. The non-root attack system currently has almost no work done to it. Think of the things that would make it feel good: visual effects, weapon effects, minute camera shakes, audio cues, split body animations, and things of that nature. They've been trying to get in a bunch of different forms of combat into the alpha for people to test and just see what people like the best, and it seems people prefer to be able to move and fight without being rooted in place, so that's what they're going for at the moment. There is, of course, also a reminder at the end here that the Alpha 1 is actually for mostly testing back-end systems and laying the framework and foundations to continue to build on that foundation into long-term viability, whereas Alpha 2 will be when they have all their core systems in place for testing. And Alpha 2, as far as I know, has no alpha date set yet, but from what I played, the networking and engine were running pretty damn well. Actually impressed me, and much better than I thought it was going to be. So it will be interesting to see. how far we are from seeing all those things implemented into the game, and to get a real idea on how Ashes is going to feel content-wise and systems-wise, and how it's shaping up, how long the game...
Thank you for that feedback. Or maybe it's just that the volume on the video is too loud. Is the video too loud? Or am I too quiet, or a little both? You can't hear me at all right now? You can't hear me at all? Like zero? The video is loud. I can hear it. Oh. Interesting. How about now? Let me turn that down a little. Is that better? Can you hear me better? Still really low. Interesting. Okay. Thank you for that. I'm looking at the mic volume. Oh. Okay, hold on. Mic volume. I'm looking at it, and it's pretty high on my setting, but I'm seeing that it's not responding super well. Interesting. Okay. Let me turn it up just a tad. How about now? Is it a little better, or still too low? A bit better, but that's really weird. I mean, I have it. Like here, look, watch. I'll show you. Look, this is my mic volume. And you see that it's pretty high. But I can see that it's not going up to... I want it to be about like right up here. Let me see what happens if I max it out. See, it gets a little higher, but it's still not as high as I'd like it to be. I feel like I have to talk louder, which I can, but... And then the desktop audio, see, like watch here. Let me see.
Game's going to be to release and things like that.
Yeah, the desktop audio is definitely fine. Interesting. Give me just a sec. Let's see. But I do appreciate the feedback. It's, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily know right off the bat. Okay, you know, I'm gonna have to tweak this a little bit. Okay. So yeah, I'll tweak it. I'll tweak it a little bit later. Maybe I see that it's okay. Let me see. Properties. Why is it doing that? Why is it doing that? Because, I mean, if I have the audio on, you're not going to really be able to hear me very well. And, you know, it doesn't help that I'm, you know, my nose, right, a little nasally. That doesn't help. Is that an AT2020 USB? Is that what you're asking me? It's a USB mic, yeah. It's been working okay for me so far, but I don't know why I have the volume at max right now, and for some reason it's just not picking up that well. Like, hello, hello. See, I have to get really close, and I can see it getting louder, but I shouldn't have to be this close. Yeah, but you see how close I am, though? I shouldn't physically have to be that close. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Testing. 1, 2, right? See how close I have to be and I have to speak up so much? Okay. All right, well, I'll speak up. I'll just speak up. That's what we're going to do. I'm Now talk louder. But let's listen, because I really want to hear what he has to say here. You know, is there a mic slider? I don't think so. I don't think so. I've never had to tweak that before. I just tweak the actual system settings. But okay. So enough listening to my nasally voice, anyways. Let's hear what they have to say. Yeah.
Like that. Now, in terms of the Q&A section, this is where Stephen and the team answer the community's questions. First up, what happens to materials that have been gathered to build a node building if a mayor scraps the project? The answer...
Really?
All materials are lost. And then, of course, you go find the mayor, drag him through the streets for wasting your time. Question, will you be able to trigger abilities with combination...
Wait, hold on. So, if there's a project and the mayor scraps it, the materials are lost? I don't know how I feel about that.
of different keystrokes and reuse the keys for different skills? Answer, yes. Question, if I damage a fellow player, but then let the mob they're fighting finish them off, will I gain corruption? Answer, no. The idea is going to be, unless a player is in your party, alliance, guild, or raid, you won't be able to actually see their HP. When you do something sketchy, like bringing them close to death, you risk accidentally killing them and gaining corruption, but this is being tested. Now, for me, this reminds me of the golden age of Korean MMORPG griefing techniques. I was doing this to people in the early 2000s in an MMO called Legends of Mer 2. You would get someone low, let mobs finish them off so you didn't get a murder count, and if people died to monsters, they would have a higher percentage chance of dropping items from their equipment paper doll. I actually super miss those types of systems, to be honest, before obviously most South Korean games were absolutely ruined by pay to win. As for Ashes, the solution that they've proposed here, I think it's probably for the best. It's probably not the best idea to let griefing like that happen, unless they want to really niche down into an even more hardcore territory. And it's already a pretty unforgiving game, the most typical, theme park mainstream MMOs. So I'm not sure they're going to want to go that much further. Question, will sprinting be infinite or limited resource? Answer, currently we're all planning to have a percentage-based sprint which cannot be used in combat. Question, do you plan to keep fishing location-based like other harvesting, or will I be able to fish anywhere and in any type of water? Answer, there will be multiple types of fishing. There is sport fishing that will be location-based. There will also be no sparkles on gatherables later. Currently it's there just because we have not implemented all the UI stuff for it yet. So if you're not aware for the context of what they mean by this,
I'm gonna be honest, I don't really care about fishing that much.
Pretty bare bones. It honestly is just pretty bad. It's there, it exists. There's a ton of trees, rocks, and stuff like that in the world, and you can only gather a small percent of specifically glittering ones, and that's the same for fish too. So you can walk over to a big body of water, and if there's no tiny little spots that are glittering, you just can't fish, which obviously doesn't feel good and is completely placeholder. I'm really looking forward to see how in-depth and encompassing the gathering is in this game, because that's obviously going to be a huge factor for this and for the economy and the sandbox aspects of Ashes.
Yeah, gathering is a different thing. That, I definitely want to participate in the economy. When I was playing the New World demo, I found myself, honestly, almost obsessing over picking up rocks and chopping down trees and skinning animals. So that I definitely, if there's this cyclical or circular economy where everyone's contributing, that I very much want to be a part of, but fishing, other people will enjoy doing that, not me.
Question, will we be able to worship the others in the divine node? Answer, no, you will not be able to build temples to the others in a divine node. However, there will be other quests that you can undertake for the others. That's okay. The first season was really good, but then in later seasons you find out the others are just normal people from the real world, and they aren't savages that lived on the island and control the smoke monster with magic. Hopefully some people got that reference. Question, will I need arrows for my bow? Answer, good question.
Hold on, I missed that for a sec.
Good question, still discussing with the design team. No answer. Arrows for my bow? Answer, good question, still discussing with the design team. No answer. I personally hope this is a thing. Going back to WoW Classic and TBC gave me a great appreciation for the little things like this. It just feels better. Question, how early would we be able to own our first ship? Answer, level 10 or 15 you can craft your own small or personal vessel, the smallest size. Question, are players restricted from transferring materials to alts via freehold storage? Answer, no, you cannot move materials that way, but you can move normal items that way.
Okay.
Question: when you invest a percentage of your power into a combat pet, when it dies, how soon does the percentage of power return to you? Answer: immediately. Question: what are your plans to keep old gear relevant / useful? Answer:
Okay.
a big component.
This is important. I want to hear this, because this is very much a concern of mine in a lot of games. They fail to make, or they try to do simple things, and it just doesn't it doesn't execute, doesn't give meaning for old gear.
For this, while expansions or progression comes out, is via deconstruction. Deconstruction will provide unique materials that can only be acquired through deconstruction to progress your gear.
Okay.
I'm not really sure if they went into more depth on this and more systems, but from what the transcript says, it doesn't. I'll give you my take on this. That's actually a fairly decent idea for the deconstruction, to be honest. But
okay, so if that's the only way you can get those materials, then I can get on board with that. I can. But it just really depends on what you can do with those materials, right?
I'm hoping gear that is good and worth grinding or getting lucky to get is actually just always going to be good and relevant, as opposed to, say, for instance, we use it as an example quite often, Retail WoW, where it feels like you're on a one-patch treadmill. You're going to replace almost everything in the next patch each and every time, as opposed to when the game was earlier, gear was harder to come by. You would use it for quite a long while sometimes throughout the whole expansion. So that's it for this month's video. Not a ton of new stuff to go over, but some really good news in terms of the combat testing, the improvements to the networking, and the fact that they are still going over feedback that people provided. There was...
Hey, Victor, that's a really good question. I know the alpha is going till August 13th, so it still should be running, but they have downtimes. They have downtimes each week to do implementations. So I'm assuming I think the servers are down now until Thursday. I believe that's. I thought it was Tuesday through Thursday, but maybe they're already shut down right now. But I know that there was like a 2 to 3 day period each week where the servers are shut down. So that's why.
So many videos, so many people watching live streams, so many people commenting that never tested or seen the game before, and it's really good that they are taking all that feedback on board. If you didn't catch my impressions of the alpha test, I'll leave a link in the video description to that video. Cliff notes are, of course, that I mostly thought it was good from a foundational standpoint, but obviously we're so far off of release that it's really hard to talk about the project in much depth yet, as most of the things we really need to see are simply not there yet. They're just not in the game and won't be for quite a while. There is a super high ceiling though on what we've seen so far based on the early implementation and showcase of the large siege fights and how they're working already, and of course how they perform, which is a great feather in the cap and shows that they are mostly there in terms of the back-end systems, at least from my perspective. Thank you as always for watching. Leave me a comment, a like, a subscription if you enjoy the content, and if you want to keep up to date on the ongoings of the MMORPG world and beyond, as I do cover pretty much everything that I can. Also, click the link in the video description if you've not registered for Ashes of Creation yet. That will give you an account affiliated with me, meaning any money you spend.
Okay, yeah. We get the point there. So, I think definitely
will give me...
one of the major highlights, it seems, is the combat. And, I feel like I have to... I feel like I have to like try it firsthand to really like get a feel for what they mean by being rooted in place versus not. But I think as long as they have a hotkey where you can toggle it on or off, I think that's pretty good. The Siege ran better than Guild Wars 2 in Alpha. Okay, well that's good. I mean, I've never actually played Guild Wars 2, but I've heard really great things about people who did play it in the past. Excuse me. So, I figured that this development update was going to be relatively straightforward since it is during the alpha, and it's exciting to see them get back in the office and start to really ramp up and work on things some more. So that's definitely great. This game is definitely it's got a lot of great potential. It needs a lot of time in the oven, and so I think when Alpha 2 comes. Legit game, but not popular. Yeah, I know. You know what's funny is a lot of people have been playing Final Fantasy 14 a lot lately, including me. And there are definitely people that stream it, but I noticed that unless you're one of like the bigger streamers, you don't get that much attention. So, I'm just playing it just because I enjoy playing it. But I think if they're gonna add all the core systems by Alpha 2, that we'll have a much better idea of the whole picture of what we're looking at in the game. And I'm optimistic just because I think Steven is very open minded. You know, for the most part, he's rigid about some things, but I think that's okay. He's funding this game from beginning to end, so he has a vision for it. And is it going to be a game that everybody plays? No, it's not. But is it going to be? Is it potentially a very big and popular game? Yeah, it will be. I think their business model is something everyone can get behind. It's just the sub, and as long as they have the game visually looks great. If they can make the combat enjoyable and the economy meaningful through, the exploration, through the questing, the sieges, right? There's a lot of focus on PvP, and a lot of people really enjoyed that about some of the older versions of things like World of Warcraft, right? Just running around in an open world, Unreal Engine 4 is going to bring a lot of people. Yeah, that's true. I mean, that'll get people curious, but is that going to get people to stay? Not necessarily. They need the game has to be fun. It has to have a combination of things. Could have a good story. Could just be fun to do. Like Final Fantasy 14 so far for me has really great story. And I'm playing it differently. I'm actually reading quests. I didn't do that in World of Warcraft at all, and I'm actually reading it and I'm enjoying it in that realm. But like New World, I didn't really care that much for the story in the beta that I played, but I did enjoy running around and just gathering things and whatnot. So, there's a lot of ways to appeal to a player, and I think that if they can, harness some of those features in other games, that they absolutely can and will be successful. They will be. I'm gonna watch closely Alpha 2. And, beta is really where I'm going to be at. Final Fantasy 14 is good, but playing it also got a Dragoon level 54 now. Nice. I'm level 33, and I just, as a summoner, and I'm enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. It's different. It's simple. I think if you're not into story as much, maybe you won't like it. But if you like JRPGs and you like story and you like playing a single player game in an MMO world, then you'll probably like it, And if you've played other Final Fantasy games, you'll probably like it too, because there's a lot of features there, a lot of nostalgia, So it's definitely fun. It's not for everybody, but it's fun. I mean, I think the fact that you can play the game for free up to level 60 is really, yeah, it does have that feeling. Yeah, absolutely. I think you can play as much as you want up to level 60, and you can try every class with the same character. It has some appeal there. It really does, Also, it's nice that when, servers are overloaded, that they don't blame the players. They just apologize, right? Unlike some people who, scorn their own player base, Blizzard, right? Yeah, anyways, I don't want to get into that drama. I think we've all had enough of that for a little bit while. But anyways, I'm optimistic for this game. I'm going to continue covering it when they come out with the updates. I think that we got to see a decent amount of the some of the, more, the shell of the game right now in Alpha 1. And, maybe we'll get Alpha 2 this year. I'm not sure. They said significant amount of downtime, so we'll see. Oh, you missed the first half? Yeah, do you want me to? I can link it for you so you can see. It's only 10 minutes. It's pretty short. I'll link it for you right there. He talked just a little bit about the team moving into the physical spot, and also a little bit about the combat. So I think that's an important highlight. So you should probably look at that. And he's got timestamps too, so you could just click on that and see. You can go here to combat changes early on. So. All right, well, yeah, that's gonna be it for me for now. I'm gonna go and try and relax. Maybe I'll have some tea, and maybe I'll play some Final Fantasy. Yeah, they need a lot more time to develop stuff. We're looking at the bones of the game right now. Some of the bones, exactly, some of the bones, right? But let's be real here. this is some of the bones, but they're pretty good looking bones so far. And granted, it's some. To me, that means it's optimistic, right? Because that means there's a lot of room for potential. There's a high ceiling, as Kira pointed out. So, let's be. I think the safe bet is be cautiously optimistic and be patient. We have lots of great games. I know, good bones, right? There's a lot of great games to play right now. There's not any rush for this game to come out. There really isn't. I'm so glad it's not. Honestly, I can. There's too many games to play right now. I can't play all of them. So, I don't mind if it's a few years out. I'm okay with that. But when beta comes, I will definitely play. And if they give me, if I qualified for the content creator program, then I would definitely highlight it and spend more time on it. Yeah. You're waiting for something about judgment system, player-based punishment. Oh, interesting. You should pitch that idea on their forums for the stream this month. Ask that question. That could be interesting, actually. I like it. I think that's something Steven would be on board with. He seems to really be about letting the economy and everything work itself out. Give me bounties to. Oh yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you, Fizzle. Honestly, I am not. I repeat, not a PvP guy. But let me tell you what I am. I'm up for bounty hunting. I'm up for that. Especially corrupted players. I am so up for that. Just hunting them down and getting rewarded for it. I will definitely be on board with that. So you see what I mean? Like that's what's really great is you don't have to be a PvP person, but there's something really there, something unique and something special. So, all right, well, guys, I'm out. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. And Fizzle, thanks for the feedback, by the way, about the sound. I appreciate it.